Hello, and welcome to the Random Talks where we speak of everything and nothing at the same damn time. Does anyone do that with me? Y'all be having me do that alone or y'all do it with me? Because I just get that out the way and then I get into talking. So does anybody else do that with me? I'm just doing it alone. It's okay if I am. But I was just curious, does anyone say it with me? Very curious. Gotta start this video off by addressing a comment that was commented, today. I uploaded yesterday. It doesn't matter because by the time y'all see this, the week gonna be gone. I wake up, I'm looking at comments. This girl said, stop making all your interesting videos membership only. Some of us are broke, okay? Oh, you thought I was one of those podcasters that are making money. So then I seen that comment and I commented back. I was like, girl, I'm broke too. What you thought? You thought I would? Bitch, I'm walking on a fucking dream. I'm rubbing pennies together, ho. I'm rubbing pennies together. So I said, girl, I'm broke too. Girl, I'm broke too. If you want to watch it, get the membership. If you can't get the membership, I'm sorry. So then I started thinking and I said, you know what? Bitch. You know, maybe I'm gonna do something. Since you got opinions about it, you right, we in inflation. I can't blame you for not affording it. If you can't afford it, then that's your ass. You can't watch the full episode. For the bitches that can't afford it, thank you, baby. Finger heart. I'll put little clips, maybe 7 minutes, 8 minutes onto the feed, just so people that can't watch my episodes, y'all can get a little sneak peek of the after hours. Now, my real concern is, do y'all think my videos ain't intriguing? Because I'm getting comments up here, I love your video. So if y'all gotta tell me if it's not giving, tell me now. For my first segment, Shit I Found on the Internet, we're gonna start with the untold story behind humanity's obsession with virginity. This is actually an article that I'm gonna read, and I do want to give credit to Elizabeth Sherman, and this was edited by Savannah Cox. COX. Don't play with Miss Cox, okay? I will also have the article linked below because I feel like giving credit where it's due is necessary. I thought about it, but they put that shit on paper. They materialized it. So who am I not to give them their credit? Let's first start with virginity in ancient Greece and Rome. We're going back. While virginity today may conjure images of fragility and fragility? Is that how I say? Why did that sound weird in my mind? Y'all know when you say something and it doesn't sound right? In many ancient civilizations, virginity signaled a woman's independence and strength. Ooh. Virgins were free women, not subject to the will of a man. Oh, girl, I would have been a virgin back in ancient Greece. What do you mean? I would have just never had sex until your family sell you off for a goat. Far before the advent of Christianity, mythology contained the values of the day, and virgins played a central role in many of the stories. Parthenis, for instance, the Greek word for virgin, referred to the goddesses Athena and Artemis. Ooh, Artemis. I haven't heard that in so long, Artemis. Ooh, why did I say it like that? Y'all heard the way I said that the first time? Even the center of Greek civilization, Athens, I hope that's how you say it, was named in her honor. She represented wisdom, courage, and justice, and advised kings and warriors in battle. Woo! Athena never took a lover or married. Wow. Artemis, virgin goddess of the hunt, protected young girls and aided women in childbirth. Case in point, in one story, a man named Actaeon spies on Artemis while she bathes, and the goddess turns him into stag. He's then eaten alive by his own hounds. Oof. I would have did the same thing, but damn, that's... In later Roman society, Vestal virgins were some of the empire's most important citizens. These women were priestesses who kept the sacred fire in Temple of Vesta, goddess of the hearth, continually burning, a symbolic gesture considered fundamental for the security of the Roman Empire. Vestal virgins were allowed far more rights than regular female citizens. They could vote, own land, and if a criminal saw a Vestal priestess on the street, he was automatically pardoned. What? I don't know how I feel about that last one. What do you mean? What do you mean you just committed, I don't even know, a massacre? You just committed a massacre, but you just seen this bitch on the street. Not this bitch, but you just seen the priestess on the street and you blessed? What? What do you mean you're pardoned? You're pardoned? I would have been, every time I do something bad, I just go and look for that. Oh, let me go and find it. Let me see it. Let's get into the Bible. Oof. The Bible offers the most significant and consequential virginity myth in Western civilization, the Virgin Mary's finally ordained pregnancy. While Mary's virginity is often taken for granted today, a translation error, not truth, may be behind her labeling as a virgin. Ooh. For those who need a refresher, the story goes like this. Angel Gabriel visits Mary at her home in Galilee, girl, whatever, y'all know what I'm trying to say, and informs her that she will become pregnant with the Messiah, God's son, otherwise known as Jesus Christ. Eventually, she gives birth in a manger, and you know the rest. When placing the story into the New Testament, Jesus' disciple, Matthew, translated the event from the Old Testament's book of Isaiah. The Hebrew word for virgin is alma. The word, which appears in the Old Testament, literally translates to young woman and has no connection to her sexual history. Hold on. Y'all listening? Hold on. Isaiah uses the word alma, virgin, to describe the woman who would become Jesus's mom, and is only reflective of her age and gender. Wait a damn minute. Wait. I had to fix the way I was sitting. Wait a minute. Isaiah uses the word alma, virgin, to describe the woman who would become Jesus's mom, and is only reflective of her age and gender. This is pretty big, as it means that the original scripture may not have been concerned with whether Mary was sexually active before or after she became pregnant with Jesus. And the thing is, if I said this to my Christian Haitian grandmother, do you know how fast and how far my body would fly across the room and smack the wall? My body would ricochet against the wall from the amount of force that she would use to slap. You know when handsome Squidward was falling and he was twirling? That would be me. I couldn't tell her no foolishness like this. I couldn't tell her the truth. She wouldn't want to hear it. She wouldn't want to hear it. Modern copies of the Bible are now being revised to reflect the literal translation of Alma, an effort to be as faithful to the original Hebrew as possible. Mary Elizabeth Spears, a spokesperson for the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, told Time magazine. She's quick to add that Catholic bishops, however, still believe that Jesus was born to a virgin and that she retained perpetual virginity. Meaning that even after she married Joseph, she never had sex with him. I just don't believe that to be true. Come on now. Like, we don't even need to lie right now. You really think she wasn't putting that pussy up on her man? You really think he wasn't like, oh man, you created Jesus Christ? Nah, he was probably like, who you had sex with? Oh wait, no, damn. You know what? I take it back. You know, I just forget I even said anything I was about to say. God damn. She never had sex with him. That doctrine stands and will probably stand until the end of time, Spears said. Mary appears in artwork both alone and with the Christ child, as a nurturing and later a grieving mother, at her wedding and her birth. Indeed, the Virgin's whole life, an object of Renaissance reverence and fascination, remains on perpetual display in cathedrals and paintings around the world. Woof! That is not to say that the Virgin Mary's influence confined itself to aesthetics. Virgin Mary iconography, however nominal, her virginity may have been a lasting effect in shaping women's behavior and expressions of sexuality. Just as Mary was devoted entirely to God, not her worldly desires, so too did women in Western societies come to be expected to devote themselves to their husbands. Oh, God, I started itching. Fuck, what is this? It's like throwing goddamn holy water on a vampire. Fuck. Various incarnations of Mary's story and attributes, which place political decision-making power in the hands of men and normalized women's subservience, eventually translated to a limited life for many women, as property and wealth transference was contingent to the succession of direct blood lineage. In order to ensure a successful transfer, women were thus encouraged to stay chaste until they were married and to remain completely faithful and subservient to their husbands. Ross! It's not even on purpose this time. Now I think this top is just making me itchy. Maybe it's the top. Maybe it's not being subservient to a man. Actually, I think it's being subservient to a man. While centuries have passed, and with it transformations in laws and norms, which articulates a woman's status in society, religious groups still obsess over a woman's virginity and its protection. Some Christians, for instance, participate in purity balls. Ooh, when I found out what this was, I was disgusted. I was disgusted. A purity ball. You celebrate? Whatever. Okay. A formal event in which teenage girls clad in white dresses make a pledge of sexual abstinence to their fathers. That doesn't sound weird. I was probably still a virgin when I learned what this was. I was like, what is the reason that all these adults got together and was like, yeah, let's celebrate you being a virgin to your dad? What? Again, I understand celebrating a period though. Because me and my mom, we celebrated my period. But that's different. It's, it gives me a weird vibe. I'm sorry to anyone that has, participated in these balls. I'm not judging you. I'm judging your parents, not you. Your parents. Those pledges and rituals like them don't seem to have made much impact on teenage pregnancy rates. Ooh! A 2016 study in the Journal of Marriage and Family found that 30% of girls who made an abstinence pledge and subsequently broke it became pregnant while unmarried. And you know what? See, now you invested in a party. That was just a party. So you telling me we celebrating or we throwing a party for me being a virgin, but you're not teaching me sexual education? Like, teach me why I shouldn't be having sex. Don't say, no, don't have sex. Or not even why I shouldn't be having sex. Or why educate me on sex. Not even why or why I should or why not. Educate me. That's what I'd be like, did you educate me? I needed to go find out for myself. I needed that. I had to go find out for myself because you wasn't telling me shit. The study's author, Anthony Paik, argues that these type of rituals help sustain an environment where young women are cut off from the access to safe methods of birth control. Wow. And perpetuate the idea that women are only valuable as wives and vessels for future offspring. Wow. That's the message you wanted to spread. Like, come on. Abstinence-only sex education policy may be contributing to the decreased sexual and reproductive health of girls and young women, Paik said. In other parts of the world, perceived sexual purity can be a matter of life and death for women. In some Islamic nations, if a woman has sex or gets pregnant before marriage, even in cases of rape, she could be the victim of an honor killing. I feel like that's just pure evil at that point. I'm sorry. And that's not to judge anyone's culture. Yeah, actually, I'm sorry. I'm gonna judge your fucking culture when it comes to murder. You murder? Even in cases of R word, she could be the victim of an honor killing. So it's like someone not only took your body away from you, your parents have the ability to take your life because of what someone else did. Not take the life of the person that did it. Take your life. That's did the Quran go and say to do that? There's no way. There's no way the Quran went and was like, oh yeah, kill that bitch if she going. What? No. For me, that's evil right there. I don't know who came up with that, who started that, but the person that did and the people that follow, pure evil. The United Nations reports that honor killings claim the lives of 5,000 women per year. That's 5,000 souls taken away for what? Because of sex. That's horrific. In the West, though the stakes are lower, virginity myths pervade pop culture. From the innocent schoolgirl in Britney Spears' Baby One More Time to the sexually awakened Madonna in Like a Virgin. Young, naive women who are at once sexy but virginal have replaced the traditional representations of Mary. In an attempt to achieve this impossible balance of sexual maturity and innocence, women can often lose more than they gain. In 2010 book Talking About SA, Society's Response to Survivors, shows that up to 2/3 of women who tell others about their assault must endure a second assault in the form of negative reactions such as victim blaming and disbelief. That's not to say that the outlook is all bleak. For women seeking sexual agency, recently men and women across the country have pushed to take their sexuality back, and to some success. In so-called slut walks, demonstrators celebrate sex positivity. Part of their aim is to push back against the notion that chaste women are inherently better than women who choose to have sex. They hope to crush the belief that modesty, purity, subservience, and silence makes a woman more valuable, okay? Many slut walks also advocate for victims of SA and protest our culture, especially on college campuses. No one talks about that. You know what? Maybe I'll make a video about that because nobody talks about that. That shit happens all the fucking time. Slut walks have also taken place in South Africa, wow, New York, Toronto, and New Delhi. among many other places. In 2016, when feminism is a buzzword, a woman might finally be president of the United States. Girl, little did you fucking know. And the people wielding the power on TV's most popular show are all women. It's clear that our understanding and treatment of women has changed since the days of Virgin Mary. That evolution in thought should apply to a woman's sexuality too. After all, sex doesn't need to rule women's lives. They've got much more important things to think about, period, point blank. So, me speaking on virginity kind of sparked another bulb in my mind, and I was like, oh, you know what? I feel like it's a really good time to also speak on body counts. You don't stay a virgin forever. How you think you got here? How you think I got here? So I'm like, okay, if we're gonna speak about virginity, we should probably speak about body counts too. Of course, I took to Reddit. Took to good old Reddit, and I was like, let's look up stuff about body counts. And this person said, how many bodies is too much? Ooh. It's not specifically about the count for me, so much as a woman's general approach to intimacy. In parentheses, does she see it as casual fun, or does she prefer it within the context of a relationship? End parentheses. I prefer women who don't treat sex so casually. That is just my preference. If a woman has a count of 5 or 6, mostly within the context of LTRs or dating towards such, then I'm not concerned at all. If a woman has 5 to 6 from one night stands or meaningless hookups, she likely has a different vision of intimacy to myself. Depends. I think it depends on where they are in life at the moment, just on where you catch her. Depends on where you catch her. But I'm gonna hold my point of view. Another person replied to this comment saying, yep, exactly. It's not about the number. I feel like some women have this idea of having a whole phase and getting it out of their system before they settle down. But those are the bodies men actually care about. The meaningless, emotionless hookups. And it's not even judgmental. I view sex as extremely intimate and would only ever have it with someone I have a deep emotional connection with. It's just, if you're having sex like that with random people, you and me see sex as two completely different things, and we are compatible. Okay, I like that they added the last part of compatibility. Personally, if you care about body count, that's a turn off for me. Like, if we're talking and they're like, what's your body count? My pussy will literally shrivel up so far up. It'll emerge from the top of my head and come out my nose. That's how far it's gonna shrivel up, okay? My pussy will literally shrivel up so far up my body. It will travel up my body and come out my nose as a defense mechanism at that point. We got 2 lips hanging out my nose. I know that that's an uncanny sight, okay? That's an uncanny sight, but that was an uncanny question. Why are you asking me what my body count is? What you want to fuck down? You want some of that? You want that? I understand if it does matter to some people, but why does it matter? These people are saying the body count itself doesn't matter. It matters how the body count was accumulated. Did you get a body count from having 5 to 6 boyfriends, which, bitch, I think that would concern me more than a girl just trying to get her rocks off and slang some pussy real quick. She just trying to have a good time. Because that means you have 5 to 6 boyfriends in what amount of time? And what amount of time did you have 5 to 6 boyfriends? And why ain't none of them work out? It ain't a problem if none of them work out. I get it. Relationships don't work out. Some things don't work out. But how long were these relationships? How long were these relationships? And how old are we? Are we in our 20s? Are we in our 30s? Are we in our 40s? Or in our 50s? Because it all depends on that. But like, how long were these relationships and what was it? I would prefer someone that's like, I was in my time, I had fun. Okay, cool. It would just depend on how did you get to that point? Was it excessive? Did you have an obsession with sex? Like, I feel like this all depends and it adds up for me. So I find that very odd that what was concerning for them is not necessarily, 5 to 6 boyfriends. It's the 5 to 6 bodies for you just having fun. Odd. Like, especially if you're a grown-ass person, let's say you travel, you in another city, you single, you looking good, you having a good time, you go on a date, you have sex with them. You a monster? What do you mean? You're just having fun. So that's why I'm like, I don't really understand. I could get that if that's their point of view, if that's what they want, but why that point of view? I don't know. I just don't understand that point of view. Another person said, at the end of the day, you have to make decisions that's best for you. Decide which consequences you're willing to live with and what risk you're willing to take. You get good at what you practice. That's true for both men and women. Practice a bunch of short-term relationships with random people, and you're more likely to develop habits and tendencies that aren't conducive to building a long-term relationship with someone. People also tend to develop a stubborn and reckless attitude when they're cycling through different people. I could kind of see their point of view, and they're like, you're practicing a bunch of short-term relationships and you'll develop habits and tendencies that aren't conducive to being in a long-term relationship with someone. I could kind of see that. Only because, well, I mean, it depends. What's seen as a long-term relationship? Like, what do you see as a long-term relationship? For me, a long-term relationship is anything that's over 6 months. At least, like, no, I think 6 months and up is long. I know some people might see that as short. Okay, I was in a 6-month relationship in shambles when it ended, and my mom was like, bitch, it was only 6 months. What do you mean only? I was in shambles, bitch. What do you mean only? 6 months of my life, considering I get possibly like 75 summers, 75 winters, and 75 falls in this life. I guess no, that's still a lot. I spent I still spent time with that person. So I think 6 months is a lot. I don't care if I might get 65 or 75 summers. And when I say that, I mean like 65, 75 years to live. Because, you only get summer one time in a year. So it's like, I don't care if I only get that amount of numbers. When I say it like that, I know it sounds really small. It sounds really short. That's actually very terrifying. And now I'm a little scared. But I only get that amount of time. But still, you know what I mean? I feel like that's still a lot of time to devote yourself to someone. So it just depends on what do you think is a short-term and long-term relationship. Can you comment down below? Actually, that's a really good question. What's your POV on a short-term and a long-term relationship? Do you think 6 months and up is a long-term, or do you think 6 months and below is short-term? Tell me what you think of that. This person said, depends on how long I've been with the girl and who's got a high body count. It also depends if the girl has a history of infidelity. Deal breaker. See, that is an understanding deal breaker. Like, if you cheated before, I don't know, like, because people could change, I guess, but I personally, I'm gonna be watching you like that, and I shouldn't have to be watching you. So it's like, I'm not even gonna start that. You shouldn't have even told me, really. Don't even tell me that you cheated. I don't even want to know, for real. Unless it comes up, I'm gonna be like, how? Why? Tell me more. Because I don't want to judge you on your past. I know I was just talking about judging on your past, but something like infidelity, you sneaky bitch. That's different. Okay? I like a whore. I don't like a cheater. One of the biggest red flags is if a girl brings her problems and baggage into the new relationship, meaning that I end up becoming her punching bag whenever she gets triggered by something I do that reminds her of someone who treated her poorly in her past relationships. Okay? What does that have to do with a high body count? Okay. I'm not some toxic ex from their past. Girls who have high body counts who I've dated or have tried dating me have had more than 2 or all of these issues, and it's never gone well. To bring some objectivity to this post, studies have shown that women who slept with 10 or more people in their lives find it harder to pair bond with someone and find it harder to trust their partner as well. They often think their partner would cheat on them too, because as I said before, they project their own issues they have with men due to their past relationships, both a long-term and casual. Hope that answers your question. What? You better keep hoping. You better keep hoping. It didn't answer my question for me. What? So just because you slept with 10 or more partners, you're distrusting of men. You should be distrusting of men to begin with. I'm sorry, men. I hate to say it, but emotional baggage is always gonna be there unless you work on it. 10 bodies or 0 bodies. So let's just be so fucking for real. All right, I'm gonna read one more and then I'm done. I think the biggest concern that guys have with a high body count is that we worry that, 1, you've likely been with men who are better, so we feel we're not enough. Insecurity, not my problem, that's yours. 2, we will wonder if you crave different partners. In parentheses, do you get bored easily? Will you get tired of us and want to be with someone else instead? So the reason that you don't want a girl with a high body count is because you think that she had better dick than the one that you give her? Why are you worried about other dick that girl had? Worry about your cocky. Why are you worried about other dick? That's kind of gay. That's kind of gay. No, I'm being honest. I'm sorry. I'm being honest. Why are you so worried about dick I've had? Do you want some? You want to grab it? You want to smack it? What do you want? What do you want? I'd genuinely be like, how is that my problem? Someone replied saying, you've missed the most important concern that men often struggle to articulate, especially if you're looking for a long-term relationship. Why do so many men who got to have sex with you not want to keep having sex or develop a relationship with you? Are you bad in bed, or is your personality a deal breaker? If you're an amazing person and you love sex enough to keep having it with heaps of different guys, why aren't any of them interested in repeating that experience or developing a deeper connection? Sometimes a bitch don't want to develop a deeper connection. Sometimes a bitch don't want to see where things go. Sometimes a bitch just want to crack, maybe pull a return of the Mac and then leave. You're offended because this person has had multiple bodies because one, you're concerned that the bodies were better than you, and then two, oh, if you had so much sex with so many guys, why aren't none of them your men? Why aren't none of them your boyfriends? Because sometimes a bitch just want to hit and leave. If we're being logical, praying mantis, they eat the men that they sleep with, right? Maybe we should just start doing that. Thank you. You served your purpose. Goodbye. Let's get into my next segment, Latest Obsessions, where I speak about what I'm obsessed with. For music, my life has felt like a movie lately. Like, genuinely, I don't know if it's a horror film. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's like a drama. Yeah, it's a drama. Ooh, it's a drama. The first song I have here is Ginkgo by Panchiko, and the lyrics say, "Don't know how big it was, don't think that I want to. The heat, it makes you lazy and out of phase. Is bending you out of shape more than I ever could, my love. Such a funny thing, I don't know where you've been." Listen to the song. I know, just don't ask me, listen to it. Next song is A Place in My Heart by Club 8, and the lyrics are, "It looks so good. And maybe it could be. If we both tried falling apart. Could be a start, and I don't mind. There's no time, well, there's some time, but it's never the right time." Ooh, I kind of felt that part. Last song is Life Is Gonna Get You by the Pearly Gate Crashers. And the lyrics say, "I go to a place that I call my old home. I walk to a room and I sit on my throne. I'm sorry to say, life is gonna get you one day." Why'd that sound so spooky? That sound a little spooky. I hurry up and did that because we need to talk about Materialist. All right. I just, sometimes I gotta rush. Sometimes I shouldn't have even done music, but the songs I have here is really good. So I went and watched Materialist. Let's talk about Materialist. I feel like the point of view that I have on Materialist might not be a popular one. The overview says, a young matchmaker's lucrative business gets complicated as she finds herself torn between the perfect match and her imperfect ex. If you haven't watched the movie, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna spoil. I feel like the concept of this movie was so beautiful until they chewed it and spat it out. And I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to address you by your name. Celine Song, a Canadian director and playwright. Celine, can I talk to you really quickly? The movie overall was great. Until it wasn't, and I just had a problem with certain scenes. Let me tell you not even certain scenes. I had a problem with the end. Everything was beautifully laid out until it wasn't. Her good-for-nothing broke-ass ex that she was with that broke up with her on her birthday 10 years ago comes back into her life while she's now a matchmaker. She was an actress back then as he was an actress, and they were both poor as fuck, couldn't afford shit, in love, but not in love at the same time because unfortunately being poor affected a lot of parts in their life, right? Keep that there. So then 10 years go by, boom, 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 boom. She start getting her life up. She start getting people married. She's a matchmaker in New York, right? She's a matchmaker in New York. Got people getting together, having fun, doing her job. She loves her job until something happens at her job. I'm not going to tell you, blah, 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 blah. But she meets this guy. This guy that she meets, he's rich. He's 6'1". He's all, his family's been rich. He got good connections, all of that, right? Seems like a really good business partner in terms of marriage because, as she said in the movie, marriage is a business at the same time. Marriage is as much as people want to say love isn't transactional, as much as people want to say marriage and things like that aren't transactional, it is, right? So she's like, oh, this would be a really good match, And then she's like, but we're not a good match. And if there's no love, I can't do it. I understood her point of view when she was like, I can't be with you if there's no love. I totally understand that. But you know what she went and did? She went and ran back to her ex from 10 years ago, right? From 10 years ago, the broke one that got 3 different roommates and don't even got a fucking pot to piss in. She told that nigga to his face, oh, you don't love me because you hate me. And he was like, I don't hate you. She was like, yeah, you do. You hate the way I talk shit about you being broke and how we can never afford anything because you're broke, da 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 da. And he was like, I'll still love you, the good and the bad. Basically, that's what he said. And then they ran off into the sunset. And then a bitch quit her fucking job when she was about to get a promotion to like basically own the company in New York. She quit her job. And then the movie ended with her poor ass fucking boyfriend making a little ring out of a flower and saying, oh, you ready to make the worst financial decision in our lives? And she was happy. And I was like, you took the modern woman and you chewed her and you spat her out. I was genuinely confused at the ending. They talked about the modern woman going to work, doing her own thing, and like taking over her own life. And you ended the movie with a man that could provide her nothing. He could provide her nothing. And then you also had her quit her job. So it's like, what kind of dream are y'all walking on? How are you paying your bills with no job in New York and y'all broke? Like, I was like, let's be so fucking realistic right now. Because I was like, unfortunately, I see what she was trying to do. I understand she was trying to have that happy ending with a good guy, da 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 da. And I'm not saying she should have got with like Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal was the one that was like the rich guy. I'm not saying she should have got with him. She could have. That would have been a good financial and life decision for her. I feel like the ending should have been surrounded by the main character herself. Even though it is a romance, I don't see how being with this partner that one gave her nothing 10 years ago and still ain't got nothing 10 years later would be beneficial for her. I was like, you're gonna repeat the same mistakes you did 10 years ago. Cause it'd be different if it was like, oh yeah, like, I know I'm still broke, but I'm working towards something in my life. That nigga was in the same spot he was in 10 years ago. So I was like, what have you done in 10 years? She became a matchmaker and got 9 fucking weddings, 9 engagements. I was like, what have you done? What has he done for character development in 10 years? They didn't show us anything. He's doing the same thing. He acting, not making no money, and got 3 roommates and don't got a pot to piss in. I was like, that's just, I feel so bad for the main character because they chewed her and they spat her out for what? Just because he's a nice guy. So Celine, I'm really curious on why you got to the ending that you did, especially because Celine is 36 and she's married. So I said, well, how did we get where we got? You're a grown-ass woman. You know exactly where she was coming from. She's a grown-ass woman. Like the character, you know exactly where she would come from as a grown-ass woman. And this is what you make. Originally, I was like, oh, a man had to have been in on this one. A man had to have been in on this one. Because why did the end play out that way? Like, this is not a happy ending to me. This is not a happy, oh, she stayed with the broke guy because of love. And y'all know how I feel about being broken in love. Y'all already know my point of view. I'm sorry, it's shallow. I understand. I've actually recently had a debate, like a serious debate with like 5 people at a table. I mean, I had more people on my side regardless, but I feel like I won because at the end of the day, I mean, it's not something to win necessarily, but I feel like my point was like the strongest because again, how the fuck you broke and you in love? You could be broken in love, but your way of life would not be the best. Oh, but it's the best because we're in love. Have you ever been broke in New York City? Would you want to stay that way? Honest question. Would you want to stay broke for love? And then the thing is, it's not even like she had to stay broke. I'm still interested. Why the fuck you made that bitch quit her job? She didn't have to be broke. She could have been the CEO of the company in New York. I'm confused. That's it. That's all I was curious about. But would you stay broke for love? Honest question. Like grown folk, would you stay broke for love? Everyone over 22. Sorry, I just had to be honest. Everyone over 22, answer this question. Would you stay broke for love? I'm not even 22 myself, so really I wouldn't even be able to answer this question. But would you stay broke for love? But we are going to jump to my last segment only because I feel like this episode may be a bit long and I've been going over my time, okay? The max time I'm supposed to do is 40 minutes, okay? Last episode, I was at like 58 minutes. I was like, ooh, girl, you need to chill down, okay? I should not be editing 2 hours of content to 48 minutes. That's crazy. But let's get into my last segment, Pillow Talk, where I speak on listener stories and confessions. Since we're dedicating 1 episode a month to Pillow Talk, I'm gonna probably only do 1 or 2. Don't be mad. Don't be mad, but I'm gonna only do 1 or 2, okay? All right, so this person said, my dad is trying to steal my money by using my mom. Oh, am I right to not give it to him? Yes. I don't even know what we talk about right now, but yes. I mean, let me read actually, because some of y'all be. All right. Hi, I love your videos so much. Wouldn't have survived my final year of high school without them. Aw, I love you, of course. That's so sweet. Damn, I'm proud of you. Congratulations. For context, I live in the UK. You live in the UK? Sorry. And there is this thing called a junior ISA. It's a bank account your parents can put as much money in, and it can't be touched until the child turns 18. And once they reach this age, the money is theirs. Oh, I wish. What? America! We just can't do nothing right but war. You telling me we can't do nothing right but start fucking wars and spend money we don't have? I'm currently living with my parents, but this September I'm off to uni. My mom has been unemployed and barely paying off her debts. Very relevant. So my 18th birthday is coming up in late June. I'm a Cancer sun, not that it's relevant. It's relevant. Thank you for sharing. I recently received a letter from my bank saying that my ISA has matured and that I'll be getting a little over what is that? Is that euros? What y'all doing in UK? £2. £2 in total, which 2K pounds, 2 pounds, 2K, whatever. I know it's a lot in total, which my mom and I are very excited about. I've already planned how I'm going to divide my money. 1K into stocks and shares, 500 in my own savings account for uni expenses, bills, etc. 75 max for my birthday plans, 250 max for clothes shopping for holiday/uni, and 100 max for my friend's birthday. She wants us to travel to a different city. In total, I'd probably be left with around 90 pounds. For more meticulous things like piercings or a retwist, I have locks. However, when my dad, who hasn't put so much as a penny in that account, heard about my ISA, he was making his own plans with my money. Or my plans of investing 1K had already been altered because my mom needs me to loan her the money so she can pay her bills and keep the bank off her case. This is a sacrifice I am more than happy to make. My mom's very reliable, has good credit, pays back what she owes, interest, all in all, the ideal person to loan money to. And we have a really good relationship. My dad, however, is terrible with money. He makes plans with money which he doesn't have, which only seems to disappear when my siblings and I need lunch money or other necessities, and expects my mom to pick up the slack every time. It's so infuriating watching him financially abuse my mom and showing no regard for any of our well-being, and I do not want to be his next victim, period. After my mom asked for the loan and I agreed, he asked for 1K as well. It'll be spending money for our family holiday, but I refused. Everybody in the family apparently knows to never lend money to my mom. I'm the dumbass, I be lending money. I learned my lesson, bitch. I learned my lesson. I don't do that shit no more. I don't do that shit. Sometimes you just gotta say, let God have it, As you can't ask me. You cannot ask me. You need to know you cannot ask me. If the bank won't even let you take out a loan. He wasn't too happy about it. But I told him that if I'm not even able to trust him to make sure my siblings and I are fed, then I definitely can't trust him to pay me back my 1K, period. Not to mention he has a long history of not paying people back, especially my mom and anyone on her side of the family. He's owed my auntie $400 from last November. A few days passed and my dad asked my mom to try convincing me to give her an additional 1K, leaving me with none of my money so she can give it to him. Of course she says no because he contributed nothing to my ISA, let alone other areas of my life. And now he expects me to happily hand him over half my savings just because he's my dad. In response, he shouts at her, talking about how it's her fault that I don't appreciate what he does for us and that I'm disrespectful, blah, blah. And all in the same breath, he's still trying to convince her to coax the money out of me, threatening to cancel the holiday if she doesn't. We're both in agreement that he shouldn't have planned a holiday he can't afford in the first place. The US is an expensive place to travel to, and if he didn't already factor that into his planning, then the holiday was fucked from the start, you know what I mean? But at the same time, my sibling, my 15-year-old sister especially, have been really looking forward to this trip. And I don't want her to resent me if it's my fault it gets canceled. So am I right in refusing to give my dad 1K to help the holiday plans? Yes, do not give your dad that money. I'm sorry. Keep that for you, put that in your savings, and get your 1K back from your mom, and go have fun. It's okay to be selfish. Sometimes you literally have to be fucking selfish. Sometimes you have to put yourself goddamn first. Sorry, your sister won't be able to go to the United States this year. Sorry, your dad can't use the money to supply the trip that he planned for your family to go to the United States this year. Sorry. And for it to be that little bit of money, in USD, that's $2,705, right? I don't see how you need that extra band so bad that it canceled the trip. You shouldn't have scheduled the trip. It's my personal opinion. No, you're not wrong. Girl, what? Y'all think she was wrong for not giving him the money? Y'all think she wrong? Even with, the sister can't go on a trip, because I don't. But sometimes I started putting myself first, because I had to notice that sometimes you have to put yourself first. Thank you so much for watching this video. Take care, brush your hair, and wash that motherfucking derriere. Also, how y'all feel about the fro? This shit made me want to go out and dance, bitch.